Hey guys, Ultra Maximus back with another top 10 list, and today we're going to take a look at the top 10 greatest bad movies. And when I say bad movies, the greatest bad movies, that's an oxymoron, right? I mean, just the top 10 really kind of B grade movies that I really like. So these are not the worst grossing films ever made. This is not the worst production necessarily. They just weren't great movies, but for some reason I like them and a lot of other people like them. I guess that's why they're called cult classics. Much like good old Killer Clowns from Outer Space had to give it a little honorary nod because it is one of those movies I always watch when it's on TV on the weekends. So let's go ahead and see what makes number 10. Number 10 is going to go to the Garbage Pail Kids movie. And this is a bad movie. It really is. But for some reason, as a kid, I really liked it. Well, not for some reason. I know why. Because I loved the Garbage Pail Kids. I had sticker books and sticker books of Garbage Pail Kids cards. I get the photo albums and keep the cards in them. And I love how this movie poster looks like a Garbage Pail Kids card. And basically, if you haven't seen this film, it's about a kid who is having problems with bullies. He ends up running into the Garbage Pail Kids from another dimension, and they end up helping him with life struggles kind of deal. And we get in this movie, we get Greaser Greg, Valerie Vomit, Alligator was in it, Foul Phil, Nat Nerd, Wendy Winston, I think, and Messy Tessie, which some of those are very huge and original Garbage Pail Kids. Unfortunately, we didn't get like Adam Bomb, who was one of my favorite Garbage Pail Kids, but this was always something I liked to watch as a kid, and every once in a while, I'll still give it a watch. Number 9 is going to go to Super Mario Brothers. And this is another really, really bad movie, but I liked Bob Hoskins and Joey Lake and um, I thought they actually make a pretty good Mario and Luigi. And this is one Bob Hoskins hates when he goes back. He was drunk throughout the entire movie filming it. I loved Super Mario Brothers growing up as a kid. The movie came out, and it is totally nothing like the video games. However, looking back at it now, I like the take of it. I loved the concept of this tiny mushroom kingdom. They really kind of used a lot of artistic license with it and did it to a point where a lot of people at the time hated it because it was nothing like the game. But looking back at it now, I really like it. There's a lot of nods to the game in it, and it's something completely different. And to be honest, I really wouldn't mind seeing Nintendo doing a version of Super Mario that paralleled this. Number 8 is going to go to Troll. And this wasn't necessarily a bad, well, it's not a great movie, but this is one of those 80s kind of horror cult classic films. I just really, really I like the concept of this troll kind of taking over this apartment complex, possessing this little kid. We see all this great fantasy stuff going on, the wood nymphs and just all the magical creatures and special effects. And this really opened my eyes up as a kid to what a fun, kind of thrilling, scary fantasy movie could be, and how scary that fantasy creatures could be. And I've always really liked this film, and continue to get enjoyment out of it every time I watch it. Number 7 is going to go to They Live, and this is one of my favorite low budget 80s sci fi films. It stars Roddy Rowdy Piper with probably one of the best lines in movie history. I've come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass in a ball out of bubblegum. I mean, that's just fantastic. And the whole plot of the movie is, he's kind of the average blue collar Joe, discovers there are aliens living among us. They're giving us all these subliminal messages, and he gets these sunglasses from the underground that kind of truly show who the aliens are. And he's going to take down this corrupt system and expose the truth to everybody, and the whole big brother government things controlling your life. You don't even really know it. And it's a fun action sci-fi movie that, well, was made on the cheap. Number six is going to go to a 90s film that stars Denzel Washington and Russell Crowe, who was an unknown at the time, and it's Virtuosity. And I really like this. This was a fun sci fi flick. Set in the future where, and actually kind of the near future at the time, and it was basically virtual reality. This cop, Denzel, was working with this artificial intelligence program, Sid, and he was trying to best him. They were making the AI better and better so that the cops could, actually train against a criminal mastermind, basically. And Sid downloads himself into this android body that was initially supposed to be some kind of sex toy, I think. And he gets out in the real world and still thinks he's playing the game with Denzel. And it's just a great, fun, light-hearted movie with a really interesting concept. And this really is my first memory of UFC, because they actually go to a UFC arena match, and Sid really likes the attention, and it's really, really funny. So definitely a fun ride. Number five is going to go to Johnny Mnemonic, and this is another '90s film, sci-fi. I really like the concept of this movie. The graphics are really bad today, but it was done really well for such a low budget. This is when Keanu Reeves was still kind of coming up the ladder. Dolph Lundgren was in it as the street preacher, which was awesome. We had a weird cyborg dolphin. Ice T was in it as kind of the head of this underground group, and Henry Rollins also in it. Very, very fun. So if you haven't seen this, basically Johnny's a mnemonic courier, and he took a piece of his brain out and put an implant in, lost some memories so that he could smuggle data. And he decides, okay, I'm done, I want to take this out and get my memories back, and gets involved in this whole corporate scandal thing. And it's just a fun, low budget sci-fi movie. Number four is going to go to The Wild Wild West with Will Smith and Kevin Kline. And this is probably one of the most bombed Will Smith movies that has been out there, and Kevin Smith movies. Both the actors very funny, really like their films, and I really liked this movie. I do. A lot of people hate it, but it's good for what it is. A light-hearted, goofy comedy with some sci-fi thrown in the Wild West. Totally nothing like the old show, but definitely fun. I enjoyed it. I liked the writing. I liked the comedy. And it was pretty good for what it was. It didn't make very much money. And the other thing I really liked about this movie is Kevin Smith always talks about the producer who made this film had him come in to do some rewrites for a Superman movie, and was like, get rid of Superman's powers, get rid of his cape. And Kevin's like, okay. And he's like, and at the end, let's have him fight a big spider. And he's like, what the fuck? And he's talking about this in A Night with Kevin Smith, and he's like, so then I watched The Wild Wild West. Same producer, and by the end of the movie, what do you know? A giant fucking spider. And that cracks me up every time I see this movie. Number four is going to go to The Last Action Hero, and this is probably touted as one of Schwarzenegger's worst movies, probably along with Junior. And I liked this movie. I thought it was fun. The problem with this movie, the reason I think it bombed so bad, was the marketing. Whoever marketed this film should have been drummed out of Hollywood, because it marketed this movie as a straight action Schwarzenegger film, and it wasn't. It was a comedy. It was a spoof on all action movies, and it was great. I mean, down to the point where they go into the video store, which don't exist now, and Stallone in Terminator 2, which is really really funny, and just teaming up with a cartoon cat who's played by Danny DeVito, which is a nice nod to twins. I really really like this movie, and I like the concept. A lot of fun bringing the villains from films out into real life, and the interaction between movie characters and reality. MC Hammer's got a great cameo in it, and just really really good film that got destroyed because it was advertised wrong, I think. So definitely a fun movie. Number 2 is going to go to Demolition Man. Not the Marvel comic character, but the film with Sylvester Stallone and Wesley Snipes. And this movie it's another sci-fi movie in the 90s, I think it's late 90s, that Stallone goes after Snipes' character, kills a bunch of people, and gets framed for it, and they get put in this cryo prison, and they end up waking up in the future, and Rob Schneider's in it, so Sandra Bullock. Very funny. In fact, I think this is one of the first films I remember Sandra Bullock from. And when they're listening to the radio, the oldie station, it's a bunch of jingle commercials, which is kind of funny. And it's just kind of a nice sci-fi comedy action movie. Didn't do well at the box office, but I really enjoy it. And it's a character you don't see Wesley Snipes play very often. It's kind of a comic book supervillain. In fact, the whole thing seems very comic booky to me, which is one of the reasons I really like it. And it's just a fun, lighthearted sci-fi action comedy. And my number 1 pick has got to go to Masters of the Universe, of course, based on the Mattel figures and the cartoon of the 80s. This was a really not great version of the film. They're about to reboot it, and I hope they go more of the mystical meets science version of the cartoon we had. But I liked this one. I always liked it as a kid. I watched it in the theater. I remember this was one of the first movies that we rented as a kid, and I remember taping it, copying, pirating it as a kid. And this is one of those movies where all of the bad guys, I mean, every single bad guy is so awesome and so cool, and all the heroes are pretty lame. They even had to replace Orko with a little dwarf because they didn't have the special effects ability. And Courtney Cox is in this, which is really, really funny. And the scene with Skeletor, I mean, Frank Langella does a great Skeletor. Dolph Lundgren, horrible He-Man, but Skeletor, when he takes over Grayskull, is amazing. Evil Lynn, very well done in the film as well. So is Beastman, and we get some new characters on the bad guy side, and just absolutely great line. Finally, Grayskull, after all these years, it's ours, and Skeletor's like, no, mine. Just a really, really fun film. Love the villains. Love watching it. In fact, you can watch it on Paramount's The Vault for free. I'll add a link. Definitely go watch it. And it's a very early film that has a stinger after the credits. So definitely, if you go watch it for free on YouTube, stay after the credits and watch the stinger scene. Very, very fun. Definitely one of my favorite bad movies of all time. So what are yours? What did I miss? Leave a comment down below. Add a video link. I'd love to hear it. Trey Pacer, I challenge you, sir. Lawn Boys Post 1975, I challenge you, sir. I'd love to hear what you guys think are the greatest bad movies that you like to watch, maybe on a Saturday afternoon. So thanks for watching, guys. And if you have a top 10 list that you'd like to see, definitely leave a comment below. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you like this video, thumbs it up. If you hate this video, thumbs it down. To watch more Ultra Maximus, click on the links to the right. Don't forget to subscribe and share. And as always, look for more videos in the future.